What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Nozoop for you here, and a little departure from World of Warships today. Obviously, you are watching Star Wars Squadrons right now. And that's not the main point of this video, but I do want to touch on something real quick. At this point, it's old news, but I would be remiss if I didn't apologize to EA. And not necessarily apologize, but thank you, EA, for adding the B-Wing and the TIE Defender. I think many of us were hoping it would make it in. Many of us were worried that you were just going to leave the game hanging and not do anything else and fix all the things that need to be fixed, but I'm thinking you saw the popularity of the game. I'm thinking you saw the gaping hole that these two ships represented, and hey, we're getting them, and that's awesome. And it's important because the B-Wing, I mean, it's many people's favorite from the Return of the Jedi. I know it's mine, and further with Rebels, Star Wars Rebels, if you've watched that. So, good seeing that. And again, TIE Defender, also from Star Wars Rebels, which, you know, that was Grand Admiral Thrawn's creation, and legend has it, had he actually put that into production, there is a good chance that that would have won the war for the Empire. However, obviously it did not go into production. Thrawn wound up being transported to regions unknown at the end of Rebels, if you haven't seen it yet. And not really a spoiler because it's been out for quite a while now, and it is canon, so it never got put into production. So those two are going to counter each other, and it's awesome that EA is adding those. But that is not the focus of today's video. Right now, before I go into the focus, I'm going to give you one last warning. Well, this is your first and last warning. Spoilers ahead for The Mandalorian. If you have not seen the most recent episode, I would stop watching right now, because that's what I'm going to talk about. The episode known as The Tragedy. So, why is this episode so big? And again, spoilers are coming, but that's alright. We're moving on right now, and I know a ton of you out there, a lot of my followers are Star Wars fans, so that's why we're talking about this. I'm still so excited and over the moon. Boba Fett is back. He's back. And those of you that have watched the episode, you know that. Those of you that don't care about spoilers or know already, yes, he's back in the biggest way possible. This episode had so many ramifications. It just cleared up so much. I really don't know where to begin. So let's just set the episode up. You know, you're sitting there. Din Djarin's got Grogu. He's taking him to the Seeing Stone so that Grogu can reach out to the Jedi. And as he's doing that, we see Slave One enter the scene. And I mean, holy crap. Seeing that ship was just awesome. And I'm pretty sure everyone knew what was going to happen. So I'm thinking a giant showdown's going to happen. And it almost does, because Boba Fett shows up with Fennec Shand, who is still alive. And you might remember she was killed off supposedly in the Gunfighter episode or Gunslinger episode from last season. However, at the very end of that episode, we saw a shadowy figure with the sound of spurs come up on her body. And many of us figured, or at least thought, that might have been Boba Fett. It was. And she is now working for him because he saved her life. So after a tense but brief showdown, the Empire Remnant shows up, and Boba Fett changes allegiance to Din Djarin's side because he just wants his armor back. He watched him get it from Cobb Vanth. He just wants it back, and that's it. And he promises to help with the child, get the child to safety if Din gives him the armor. So a giant fight ensues, and this is where things get awesome. Boba Fett totally redeemed for what happened in Return of the Jedi, where he is sent to the side of a sail barge by Han Solo in just the absolute crappiest, worst way possible. So, totally redeemed, and I gotta give it to Temuera Morrison. I mean, he is just a badass actor, and I love him even more now in the character just after this episode. Because rocking the dad bod just a little bit, which, you know, I'll give him some slack. I mean, the guy's like 60 now. he redeemed Boba Fett, and the director Rodriguez redeemed Boba Fett. I mean, if you are a Boba Fett fan, this episode was every single thing that you had wanted and even more. I mean, we got to see him kick ass in his full Boba Fett glory. And he became a good guy at the end, or at least for now. He's helping Din. And he was a little unnerved when he saw that the Empire was back as well, as he's flying up into space chasing the child who was taken by the Dark Troopers, which, again, another callback to Legends and other sources. Yes, they're in there too, the Iron Man-like troopers. Boba Fett's chasing him, he holds back, and then he sees Moff Gideon's cruiser, and he's like, oh crap, the Empire's back. So that pretty much sums up the episode, but again, the key focal point was Boba Fett, and he's back. Fennec Shand was awesome in the episode too, so I gotta give a shout out. I mean, she was badass in the episode, but it's kind of hard when Boba Fett steals the spotlight. But we also learned some other very important tidbits. One, Jango Fett, definitely a Mandalorian. And you might remember in Clone Wars, Prime Minister Almec from the planet of Mandalore said that he was not. He told this to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan said, hey, bounty hunter came after me, you know, he's one of yours, and Almec was like, no, he's just a common bounty hunter, I don't know where he got that armor. Well, it appears that Almec was either misinformed or straight up lying and having issues with foundlings, because Jango Fett was a foundling. And he lived on Concord Dawn, which was mentioned in the chain code, which someone deciphered. It's pretty easy to decipher Arabesh because, you know, it mimics the English language perfectly. One letter per one letter. So someone did the research into that and decoded it, and Concord Dawn's mentioned. Jango Fett, definitely a Mandalorian. He was given that armor. He was a foundling, and he fought in the Mandalorian Civil War. And mind you, that is before the Clone Wars, so we know nothing about those wars, really. Just in passing. So that is the first big thing cleared up. Boba Fett, Mandalorian, through virtue of his father, who was definitely a Mandalorian. So you Jango Fett fans have been vindicated as well, those of you that held out beyond all hope that he was a Mandalorian, because he is. Also, another thing cleared up, his armor is Beskar. We cleared that up this episode as well. And there was some confusion. Some people thought it was Durasteel, like Din Djarin's first set of armor from Season 1. However, it was stated that it's Beskar. And it makes sense, because the armor was Jango Fett's originally. And the novelization for Attack of the Clones, I believe, if I recall correctly, said that Mace Windu aimed for his neck, Jango Fett's, because of the Beskar. So that clears that up as well. Now the coolest thing, the coolest takeaway from this whole Mandalorian thing, you know, Jango Fett being a true Mandalorian, is the fact that all the clone troopers were based on him. They were all clones of him. That means all the clone troopers were part Mandalorian warriors. And that would make sense, because in the end, they slaughtered all the Jedi. And who were the natural enemies of each other? The Mandalorians and the Jedis. So another very cool tidbit there. Huge ramifications right there as well. And just one more thing that has been cleared up by David Filoni. And he's just done a wonderful job with this series. Both him and Jon Favreau. And I really got to hand it to them, because this season, every episode has been better than the one before. I mean, we just keep getting best episodes. And now that Din Djarin is assembling the Mandalorian A-Team with Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, I'm hoping he's going to get Bo-Katan back in there. Cara Dune's probably going to be along. He's going after Miggs Mayfield, so he's getting a return as well. I mean, this is shaping up to be a hell of a final 2 episodes. And you know, one other thing I was thinking earlier, and you know, this is where I thought the sequels that came out, you know, 7, 8, and 9, just really screwed up. I felt that J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson really tried to throw too much Marvel-type humor in there. You know, the whole, and obviously this is the first thing that comes to mind, Poe Dameron with the, I'll hold. Oh, sir, I believe he's tooling you. That's Marvel humor right there, and it just doesn't work in the Star Wars universe. And despite having Jon Favreau in there, who, you know, created Iron Man, kicked off the whole Marvel universe, you know, Happy Hogan himself, despite him being one of the biggest names in Star Wars now, he has not forced Marvel humor into The Mandalorian. There's humor, but it's very low-key, very dry, and it just serves the series very well. So I have to applaud him for that as well. So, yes, this was a Geek Out video this week, and I don't care. I just love the episode, and I want to know, do you enjoy Star Wars enough that you would want to see me do more of these? Did you enjoy this? Was this kind of a cool break from World of Warships? You know, I'm not thinking about doing this, you know, like every day now, but just once in a while, maybe after every Mandalorian episode, maybe when a cool Star Wars topic comes up. I mean, I know I've got thousands of you out there that love Star Wars and are as big into Star Wars as I am. Just let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you thought about the episode as well. Very interested to hear your thoughts. And if you have any theories out there as well, you know, possibly about Boba Fett's survival, how he survived the Sarlacc. I mean, legends said that he pretty much blew a damn hole in the thing. And you know, there's so many different legends of stories with Boba Fett and doing the badass stuff that we didn't get to see him do in the original trilogy, which we finally got to see now in The Mandalorian. And I think so many people are happy because of this. And they didn't make it forced. It wasn't forced at all. It just fit perfectly, and all is right with the world now. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Hope you all have a great week. I'll catch you all later. Zoop out.